5 reasons why I loved the Steam Deck, even though I sold it. No, but seriously, just because localized and remote game streaming works better for me, this doesn't mean that I didn't love the device, nor that I wasn't absolutely delighted of what it was meant to do. For a basically portable PC that cosplayed as a console, it was damn near perfect. So, because my last video drew the wrath of the internet on me, I figured that it's best I do a positive video this time, one where I highlight 5 reasons of why I loved the Steam Deck, even though I sold it. But I'm open to buying future iterations of it just because, again, I loved it. Number 1, the Steam Deck is probably one of the few consoles that comes to my mind at least, which allows you to reuse the games that you already paid for. Meaning, because it's a Steam Deck, it uses the Steam platform, which means that all the games that you bought on Steam before, which you've probably hoarded like a dragon hoarding treasure, will be still there, instantly available from the second you turn on the Steam Deck, which is amazing if you think about it. If you move to Xbox right now, or PlayStation, or the Nintendo Switch, by the way, shout out to that guy in the comments with which I talked about the Switch. If you move to any of these walled garden platforms, you have to rebuy your games. If you had Fallout 4 on Steam, guess what? You have to buy Fallout 4 on the Xbox now. You do not have that interoperability between platforms, but with the Steam Deck, everything that you own on PC, you own by default on the Steam Deck as well, which I think is the chef's kiss. I think it's perfect. The fact that you don't have to double purchase anything is a huge achievement in itself and gives the Steam Deck a +1 from me personally, and I think from all people who are cheapskates like me. I'm a proud cheapskate and not afraid to say it. #cheapskate pride should be a thing we all praise. Number 2 is the customizability of it. I was shocked when I got it. I've had the Xbox before. You couldn't really customize a lot about it. With the Steam Deck, Jesus Christ, it's an open platform. You can do anything with it. In fact, I'm gonna give you a helping hand. If you want to tweak the interface of the Steam Deck or extra functionality, just search for Decky Loader. Decky is essentially a plugin manager for the Steam Deck, which injects a lot of extra code in the Steam Deck UI and gives you a lot of functionality like rounded corners to your cover art, background music for the specific game that you're hovering in, recorded playtime for non-Steam games, which was huge for me, and many other things. Decky Loader gives you a lot of freedom and liberty to essentially use the device however you want, which I dare you to show me how you can do that on an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. You can't. Those are walled gardens. The Steam Deck isn't, and kudos to Valve. Again, chef's kiss for this. Number 3 is somewhat related to number 2, meaning that it's a very open platform. I kind of grazed on this, but I need to elaborate a bit further. You don't really have any limits imposed by Valve to what you can play. You can install GOG games on your Steam Deck. Valve doesn't limit you just to Steam games. You can install Epic games. You can even install outright standalone executables that you have on 20-year-old CDs. If you still have a CD writer or DVD writer, I tip my hat down to you. Basically, you can install anything, and you can use tools like Lutris and Heroic Launcher. Yes, the same Heroic Launcher that I talked about in my video over here, but here. But in that context, I was talking about Heroic for Windows. This is Heroic for Linux, and by the same definition, for the Steam Deck. You can use Heroic Launcher, which integrates perfectly into the Steam Deck, to install any game that you might have on GOG and Epic, and you'll have it right there in the Steam Deck UI. I'm speechless with this. I cannot understate how much possibility this unlocks, how much freedom this unlocks. You get to feel console gaming so freaking differently than how you experienced it from an Xbox, for example, that whatever I say right now, you just wouldn't get it until you would try this. It's literally another version of freedom that I invite you to try. The 4th reason, and one that is very important to me and should be very important to you as well, is Valve's warranty service for the Steam Deck. It's freaking insane. I'm not overstating this. I'm not embellishing this. it's just crazy good. This applies to any country where they sell the Steam Deck. Basically, you can RMA it for almost everything. Outside of lighting it on fire yourself and purposely doing damage to it, Valve pretty much has your back. And the best part is that the warranty is tied to the device itself. So if you resell it or if you buy a second-hand Steam Deck, you are still covered by the warranty. Almost whatever you do to it, Valve will help you out and they will allow you to RMA it, as in send it back to the manufacturer, and they will send you either a refurbished one or a brand new sealed one, which I think in terms of warranty service, you cannot get better than this. And they also prepay the shipping label. So they send you a prepaid shipping label. I actually went through their warranty service. In my case, it was UPS. I just called UPS, they took the package away. I got a confirmation when Valve received it, and in 2 weeks or so, they just sent me a brand new Steam Deck when I had some battery problems with mine. You cannot exceed this level of service. Not even if you're Apple. Apple charges you for this. These guys do it, well, with the implication that it's free of charge most of the time, unless you, again, do something very direct in terms of damage to your device, then it's not as free, I would imagine, but impeccable warranty. That's why I didn't buy the GPD Win Mini. If you don't know about the GPD Win Mini, I encourage you to check it out. They have a 2023 version. It's the cutest little clamshell that you can imagine, which has a tiny little touchpad, tiny little keyboard, and incorporated controller buttons in it, and a 7-inch screen. I had my rant in the previous video on how I think a 7-inch screen isn't enough, especially for my old decaying eyes. It's so cute and pocketable, way more pocketable than the Steam Deck. But, again, I wouldn't buy a GPD device because their warranty is basically non-existent. Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I tell this to everyone. If you buy from abroad, if you don't use a platform like Amazon, for example, consider that you're on your own once you buy a device like that. It's just better to view things like this because you avoid future disappointment in case these foreign companies do not cover your backside in case you need them. But again, with Valve, you have the peace of mind that they always, asterisk, they always have your back. And number 5, which is one of the most important for me, is that hibernate/standby functionality that the Steam Deck has. Oh my god, is that great as hell. Imagine the following scenario. You're 30 plus like me, right? Maybe you have a kid, and maybe you're super exhausted of life and secretly you just want to run away in the woods and build a cabin and not see anyone you love ever again. Even if you think like this, you can't run away because you have responsibilities and people depend on you. So you occasionally indulge in your favorite pastime, which is occasional gaming. But now you only find yourself having 5, 10, 15-minute windows of time, little breaks in the day that you can actually invest in this. You can't play like an idiot for 12 hours on end like you did when you were young. Well, the Steam Deck has a hibernate functionality, which is amazing. What this does is that, let's say you start Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I don't know why I keep coming back to this game as a reference. And all of a sudden you have to do some house chores. You just press the little button on top. It instantly closes, instantly saves the state of your game. And when you come back to it hours later or days later, it almost instantly turns back on where you left off. And you just continue your game. There's no more loading the game again. There's no more waiting for the device to boot up. It's essentially a standby/hibernate state. I'm pretty sure it's a standby S3 kind of state, but you're free to correct me on this. This is just an assumption. In terms of real life applicability, it's one of the best things ever. This allows adults, busy adults like you and me, to actually get some gaming in between all of the multitude of things that we have to do as adults. And it's one of the best things that any console should have. This alone, in my opinion, transcended the Steam Deck from a gaming PC, from something that you have on your desk, to a console, because no PC can do this. Well, actually, technically, if you put it in standby, yeah, maybe, but no PC can do this so seamlessly like the Steam Deck did, where you just pick it up, you throw your behind on the couch, and You take it in your hands and you play with it. I said it before and I'll say it again. I think the Steam Deck is perfect as a couch device, but not as a traveling companion because it's a bit too big for that. But for in-house gaming, it's... Anyway, I just wanted to push this as the last clip of 2023. See you all in 2024. As always, it's a pleasure to rant like a neurotic person into the void of the internet. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I love creating it. Don't forget to subscribe. This channel is super young. Every subscription is something that I notice and makes me happy. See you in 2024.